So, I recently rewatched Michael Flanagan's adaptation of Stephen King's Doctor Sleep, and I do have some updated thoughts about it. In my original review, I did seem to take issue with the way the film had tried to operate as both an adaptation of the Stephen King novel of the same name and a sequel to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. Because since Kubrick took plenty of deviations from the Shining novel, of which Stephen King was not a fan of, the film version of Doctor Sleep had to compensate by appealing to fans of both mediums. And at the time, I guess I felt like it was trying too hard to appease fans of Kubrick's The Shining, but looking back at it, I do think that it balances everything quite evenly. Because if you never saw The Shining, or if you're like me and you don't happen to be the biggest fan of the movie, I think Doctor Sleep acts as a satisfying standalone film in and of itself. It tells one cohesive story about a man who, had this traumatizing experience from his past, and his personal story, the way in which he comes to terms with his past, is an inherently interesting one. I also seemed to take issue with the way that characters like Abra and Rose the Hat got in the way of that story, but I no longer think that they get in the way of Danny Torrance's story. If anything, I think they help enhance his story. They help his character grow and progress in a really interesting way. So, even though I did like the movie when I first watched it back in 2019, I think I definitely enjoyed it a lot more upon a rewatch all of these years later. I don't know if that has to do with learning more about the film itself and how Flanagan incorporated bits and pieces from the original Shining novel as a way to satisfy Stephen King's distaste with Kubrick's adaptation. But whatever the case may be, I definitely think that the film holds up 6 years after it was originally released. And even though this may be a controversial opinion, I, like Stephen King, still think that it is a lot better than Kubrick's The Shining. But that's just my personal opinion. For whatever reason, I happen to find Danny Torrance's story a lot more compelling than Jack Torrance's story. And it's because of that fact that the film has been officially added to my personal digital collection. So, since I did have fun revisiting the film, Doctor Sleep is a film that would still get a recommendation from me. But be sure to let me know what you think about Doctor Sleep, and as always, thanks for watching.